Alright guys, so for this first step, what I've done is I've pre-wet her hair down. This is going to be a haircut that you can do after somebody gets out of the shower, or you can wet their hair down, up to you. So for this first part, we are going to be sectioning the hair into 4 sections. So I have parted her hair down the middle. So what we're going to do is we're going to continue with that part, and we're going to go all the way down to the nape of her neck. We're going to push that out of the way. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go back up to that part, and we're going to make another section. We're going to go straight down from that part just behind her ear, so it'll look like that. So I'm going to comb that up out of the way, and I'm going to clip it with one of my clips here. So that one's up out of the way. So there's that section. And then I've already made this section a little bit, so we're going to comb it and just make that cleaned up. And we're going to clip that one up out of the way. And I'm going to turn her again. And again, I'm going to be starting at the top of her head, and I'm going to go just behind her ear. And I'll just grab all of this hair and I'll comb it up. And I'll clip that up out of the way. And then we'll do this last section here. Just comb through it and clip that one up out of the way. So basically, this is a pretty important step because as we're going to be cutting, we want everything to be clean and out of the way. So for the next step that we're going to be doing, we're going to be working on this back section. We're going to be pulling subsections down, and we're going to actually be cutting the length into our haircut. Alright guys, so the step before is we just separated everything into 4 sections. Again, we're wanting to keep it really clean and have everything out of the way so that we're just working on this back section here. So what we're going to do is we're going to comb down some subsections. So I'm just going to comb through the hair here, get all of the snarls out. We want to have it nice and clean and straight for the cut, and we're going to do a subsection here. So we're going to take out like maybe 1/2 inch here to 1 inch, and we're going to comb that straight down, and then we'll clip that back up. So I have that down. This is the section that I'm going to be working on. I'm going to take down some more through here as well. We'll just even that out so that it's straight across here. Alrighty, and then we'll clip that back up. So we have that all combed down. Now what I'm going to be taking off of this length is about 1/2 inch. So we're going to start at the middle. And why do we start at the middle, you might ask? So when you start at the middle, that's going to be the point that we start the length. And then I can take that length, and it's going to ensure evenness throughout the rest of the haircut. So that's why we start at the middle. If we started anywhere like through here, I could start way up like 1/2 inch over here and then end up way longer or way shorter on this side. So we're going to start at the middle. I'm going to move that out of the way. We're going to pull the hair straight down. We don't want to go out or to the side, just straight down. And I'm going to be cutting all of this off. So I'm just going to put my comb there, and we'll cut that off. Alright, so then we are going to continue with this. So there's my length here, and here's everything else that I'm going to need to be cutting. So I'll just continue with that. You might notice that there are some sections that seem longer compared to other sections. Like this is way longer than over here. Some people's hair grows like differently, different lengths on their head. So kind of interesting, but just know that as you're cutting, if you just keep to this middle length right here, the haircut's going to be even. So don't worry about that. Alright, so I've continued cutting through there. I'm going to stop here, and I'm just going to make sure that everything is even. And it is. And then that's when we can keep going and pull hair down from these sections here. So for rule of thumb, you want to be able to see your guide through the hair, the longer pieces of hair. And so I can see it through there. Basically, when you pull the hair down, you want to be able to read a newspaper through the hair that you've pulled down. So 1/2 inch to 1 inch of hair is a good rule of thumb. So I'm just going to keep going through there, and we'll keep cutting as we pull the hair down. Keep repinning the hair back up here to get it out of the way. All right, so I can see my guide through there. I'm going to cut it. And I'm going to keep going all the way around. Alrighty. And then something else that you guys will want to keep in mind as well as you're cutting is I'm kind of at an angle where I'm cutting a little wonky, but when you guys are cutting, try not to cut past your second knuckle, just because, and I've done this, I'm not a genius sometimes, but I've done this where I've cut right here, my palm. It hurts a lot, so try just to keep cutting just through here. Don't go past your second knuckle. Alrighty, so I've cut that, so I'm going to check that again. Keep checking the length as you go to make sure that each side is even. It'll save you time when you go to check the haircut. Alrighty, and then she actually does have layers in her hair, so I'm just going to pull that down because the shortest layer comes to right there. So I think that might actually be it in this back section, just because of her layers. Let me check. All right, so there is just a little bit. So we'll start at the middle again. There's a couple of hairs through there, and we'll just make sure that's all even. Come back over here and do this half. Alrighty guys, and then again I'm going to check that, and that looks good. So that's how you're going to do the length through the haircut. So this next part I'm going to show you guys how to do the side sections and how to even those lengths up to the back. So stay tuned for that. Alright everybody, so for this part of the haircut, this step, we're going to be cutting the side section to match the length of the back. So we're going to pull this down, and I might need to wet it again. Having wet hair, I'm not sure if I mentioned this to you guys, but having wet hair ensures the consistency of the haircut. So if you have some pieces of hair that are dry and some that are wet, it's not going to be consistent. You're going to end up having weird lengths all throughout the haircut. So making sure that the hair is consistently damp throughout is going to ensure that you have a nice even haircut. Alrighty, so that's all wet down again, sorry. So what we're going to do is I'm going to be trying to I am going to be evening this side section to the back length. So again, I kind of said this, people's hair grows differently, so don't worry if you feel like you're taking larger pieces off of some parts of the haircut, because that's okay. As long as you're making it even with the hair that you've cut previously, you're gonna be fine. Don't worry, you're not gonna be cutting weird chunks out of people's hair. So I'm gonna try to get a good angle here. Alrighty. So here's the back section here, and here's the part that I want to cut off. So I'm going to need to pull that straight down, and I'm going to cut that using my fingers as a guide and not going over the second knuckle. I'm just going to keep moving with the fall of the hair and keep cutting as I go around the shoulders here. So as you can see here, it seems like I'm cutting off way more right here than I am anywhere else. Alrighty. Alright, so that is evening up the sides with the back. And then for our next step, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be double checking the haircut. So I'll be able to show you some tips on how to double check the length and make sure that everything is consistent all the way around. So stay tuned for that. Alrighty guys, so for this last step on this haircut, we are going to be double checking the haircut just to make sure that it's not uneven. We don't want to look like we're walking around with our head tilted. So basically what you can do is really simple. You're just going to be combing the hair down and kind of eyeballing it just to make sure that everything is at a good, even, clean length. And you're just going to go all the way around the haircut just to make sure that it's even. And then you're going to be checking the length in the front to ensure that each section on the side is even. So I'm just going to turn her around and I'm going to pull the hair down on each side. And I'm going to bring the hair forward and underneath her chin to make sure that it's even. I'm going to bring it together like that, right under her chin, and it is. So we're good. So this is a really great haircut. You can use this haircut. It's actually really trendy right now with a lot of celebrities to just do a blunt one-length haircut. But you can also do a lot of fun things with it because it's kind of the basics for any kind of future haircut. So from this, because I have my length cut in, I could do layers. I could do long layers. I could do short layers. I could do face framing. So there's a lot of things that you can do from this haircut. You can build up off of it. So this was really a course for you guys to just learn the basics of haircutting. And so I hope it was helpful. I hope the tips were great for you guys to make it easier for you. Again, if you have any questions or anything, you can always let me know. But that's wrapping it up for this course. And who knows, maybe we'll have some layer hair courses to come. So thanks guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.